Hi, I'm Esmeralda. This is my personal speech. Growing up, I've always been an awkward kid who never really knew what to say. And in not knowing what to say, it made it really easy for people to kind of like look at me weird or question me. And this just made me feel very, I guess, embarrassed because eventually I've had so many of these moments that it made me question a lot of who I was and if I would ever fit in. You know, it made me question if people would ever like me. Would they even like the parts that I don't like about myself? But I think the biggest question of them all was that if I would ever like myself. And it seemed like such a scary question because I never really had the answer to it. Because I thought it was an unachievable thing. And it's not like I've never had love or I've never experienced love. I have. I've been loved throughout my whole entire childhood. And I found love in people and in experiences and things. It's just that I had a hard time accepting it and I had a hard time feeling it because how could I accept something that I don't even have for myself? And a lot of the times I feel like a semicircle trying to fit in like the square holes from the children's game. Because like I just didn't know if I'd fit in at all. This self-doubt had consumed every single minute of my day. And it also consumed a lot of my relationships. I never really knew how to keep them and I never really knew how to manage them because I didn't really have the principle down of having one myself. I remember being a kid and my cousins would play and I tried to play with them, but every single time they would kind of like kick me out or close the door in my face or just kind of ignore me. And it got to the point where my dad saw this and he would often get annoyed at me because I kept getting rejected and I kept getting rejected and I kept going out there and doing it again, even though I kept crying. And he was like, stop doing it, they're not gonna accept you. And me being a kid, I did it again. I asked them again, and again, I was left on the stairs, kind of looking at the Barbie that didn't have anyone to play with except for me. And this just set the basis for the self-doubt and the self-pity I would have for myself growing up. You know? And this made it so I eventually didn't want to talk. I didn't want to show myself. I didn't want to take up space. I really just wanted to disappear. I wanted to be another face in the crowd because if I truly were able to fit in somewhere, why didn't I fit in since the beginning? It made me question if I should be here or not. And I hated being like that. I hated filling up my book with pity and sadness, and I knew that if I were to die with that mindset, I would regret every single minute of my life. But it also was so scary to change that ill mindset because I found it easier to change every single thing about me to fit the unrealistic standards of people that didn't care for me, much less thought of me, than change my mindset. Because accepting yourself is one of the hardest things you can do. And I knew deep in my heart that I wanted to accept myself one day. But I didn't know how. So little by little, I did things that felt right. Whether it was trying a new shirt, talking to a new person, joining a club, or distancing myself from people I didn't like. And even though these things are small, they made a giant difference in how I viewed myself. Because it gave me a sense of confidence and it gave me a sense of control that I gave up on because self-doubt had controlled every single part of me. It controlled so much of my life. And even though, I'm not exactly where I want to be in life on like my mindset and everything else, and still struggling and battling with the feelings of these type of things, I'm much happier than when I was as a child. And I know that I belong here, and I know that I was put on this earth for a purpose. It's just I had to change my angle. And I understand that some people don't like me or some people don't want to be friends with me, and that's fine because I shouldn't have to search for their acceptance because I should already have some myself. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to die with regrets. I feel like we should die with the feeling of gratitude that we got to experience a plethora of things. And I think the only way to really appreciate a lot of the stuff that you see around you is first appreciate yourself. Feel the fear of branching out and do it anyways. And even though some people will say to you that what you do is obnoxious or what you do is cringy, I think that nothing's ever cringy or nothing's ever weird if you love doing it. And I probably will have self-doubts till the day I die. But like I said, I don't want it to let it consume me. I want to live. I want to put myself out there. And I want to be able to feel a day of happiness, true happiness. So, yeah. That's my personal speech, guys. I hope you enjoyed.